It is more blessed to give than receive, Jesus once said. We're also told that when we sow, we will reap. So does that mean if I give my money away, that God will give it back? Does God reward me for my giving? Jesus' words are reflected on by Paul. It's more blessed to give than receive, and they contain a powerful truth. Even the science supports it. In his recent book, Why Good Things Happen to Good People, Stephen Post describes a clear connection between generosity and health. He wrote, as a wide scientific generalization, people who contribute meaningfully to the lives of others will generally live happier, more gratifying, more resilient, healthier, and even on average, longer lives. In other words, giving is not only good for others, it's good for us. The law of sowing and reaping does apply. But does it then follow that we give in order to receive? After all, Jesus said those words too, give and it will be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will also be measured to you. So do we give to be rewarded? While it's true that God's laws operate in times of generosity, our motives for giving are equally important. Jesus also said that when you give to the needy, you shouldn't let your right hand know what you're doing, so that your giving is done in secret, seen only by God. Jesus was clearly targeting people who were motivated by pride. They gave because they were looking for the approval and admiration of others. Their motives were self-centered, not born of love. God wants us to give because it reflects his heart. He wants us to have love and compassion for those in need. We give because of God's heart, not because we want to get something out of it. That kind of attitude defies the whole meaning and purpose of giving. God calls us to give irrespective of whether we get something out of it. Jesus himself said that if anyone wants to take your shirt, then hey, give him your coat as well. We're called to love when there's hate. We're called to give even when we're taken from. Even though God's promised reward, our giving should never be motivated by selfish gain. Let me share a story that reminds us how this works. It happened on that fateful day on September 11th, 2001. The passengers on Delta Flight 15, along with some 10,000 others from other flights, found themselves diverted from New York City to the small town of Gander, Canada. Suddenly, these unsuspecting townspeople found themselves having to look after a large crowd of strangers. Their response was immediate. Volunteers of all ages gathered. Schools were converted to mass lodging areas. Residents prepared meals throughout the night, and every need was meticulously provided for. These were people who gave just because of compassion. They saw a need and they did what needed to be done. They gave generously and sacrificially. This is the kind of heart God wants each of us to have. Now look at how the reward came. 3 days later, the passengers of Delta 15 boarded their aircraft again to return home. While en route, there was a conversation on the plane acknowledging the incredible hospitality of Gander's townspeople. In appreciation, the passengers set up a trust fund to provide college scholarships for the town's high school students. They gave back, and 15 years later, the Delta 15 Fund has sponsored over 130 students. The lives of so many families were changed forever. That's how giving works. There was sowing by the townspeople and reaping when the reward inevitably came. As Jesus said, it is more blessed to give than receive, but we don't give to get. Our giving needs to be motivated by selflessness and love. True generosity never comes with strings attached. Thanks for tuning into Everyday God Conversations today. For more on having your own God conversations about money and other areas too, go to godconversations.com.